Hi, welcome to the virtual #LXN session. Okay, thank you speakers for joining us. And we have Dr. Lynette here.
Hello.
I'll have my speakers, the rest who are non-speakers, could you unmute and also close off your video for now? Yep. Thank you. Okay, JK Nabor, same for you for this moment, yeah? All right. Okay, so we have with us here Mr. Dung, Nguyen, and also Mr. Netler. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through a quick introduction as we allow more time for some of the people who have yet to also about to join us. All right. So okay, welcome to today's event. So we have with us three speakers, and we'll start off with Mr. Dr. Lynette. And then Mr. Nguyen and Gilbert. And the topic for today is about exploring business investment opportunities and expanding into a fast-moving economy and establishing a business in Vietnam, and some of the talent management and hiring strategies and business networking as well. Okay, so thank you all for attending. So if this is your first time attending the session, you might be wondering, what we do, who we are, and things like that. So, you also get to introduce yourself, right? So a little bit about me. So, okay, hope all of you could see my screen. Is that, yeah, I'm the founder of Hashtaqs. I'll give you more information shortly, and also the HER entrepreneur. And my background has always been mainly in, business development in the MICE industry, B2B media, marketing as well for the past 10 years. I'm also a Singapore certified management consultant here. And yeah, my background in psychology, marketing, as well as life sciences. Okay, so you also get to introduce yourself later. All right, we'll start off with the introduction. So this introduction later on during the networking, we want to find out more about you, your name, your company trait, the countries you like to expand to, who you like to connect with, and things like that. So we'll skip this. We'll move this towards the end. All right. So a little bit about us, Hashtaqs. So what do we do? So we harness transformation in a few key areas. Internationalization is one of them, where we bring businesses outbound. And brand transformation is also one of the key areas in branding and marketing, advisory and implementation, online and offline. And thirdly, digital transformation. So these are the key areas that we cover, from the advisory to training education, all the way to internationalization to community building. Okay, so what do we do in internationalization programs? So we conduct business mission trips across Asia, and we also do conduct deal hunter programs, dedicated one-to-one business matching, and there are funding support available for Singaporean local businesses for overseas expansion. And also part of what we do is omni-channel marketing and branding strategies, offline and online. And in this season, local SMEs in Singapore could receive up to 80% of funding support as well in the areas of branding marketing. If you'd like to know more, feel free to contact us. So what's the purpose of the LearnXNetwork session that we hold regularly? Well, the main focus is to educate the business community here and in functional business strategies, to create this community of industry leaders and business owners to network and forge partnerships, and to inspire the community through learning and to learn from successful businesses. Okay. So next up, some of our past activities that we have conducted, like the recent June virtual Asia Summit in June. And we had 100 over attendees regionally who attended. So we had like the C-suites who came by. And although it's virtual, everything was possible. Networking was done through the app We had opportunities where people could also ask questions and things like that. If you have missed it, the upcoming session would be in September, where you could join us in the virtual NEXIA festival. So we've done virtual even before the COVID, and we have been conducting monthly LearnXNetwork sessions live. So these are offline sessions that we've been conducting, right? And even conferences like this, where we bring in the ecosystem of the government, investors, and the entrepreneurs and leaders, okay? So even in Singapore and Malaysia, and we're expanding into the other regions, right? So these are some of the people, master classes as well. This is how it looks like. I know most of us would miss the face-to-face networking sessions, but fret not. I think, you know, we've just got to wait a little bit more. You know, so hope you guys could join us, right? And you know, next up we have our guest speaker. But before that, before we have our Dr. Lynette, right, to join us, I would like all of you to share perhaps some of the key areas that you hope to learn from in today's session. Could you type into the chat, okay, your biggest challenge, or why you like to, you know, why is there interest for you in Vietnam and things like that? Well, we have Dr. Lynette to prepare to share his slides as well. Okay, Dr. Lynette, you are the co-host also, so you are able to share a slide. Could you try doing so while the rest would type in the chat to share what we hope to get out of today's session? What are some of the key challenges, if they have encountered any?
Thank you very much, Ronnie. The ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to attend the workshop today. I would like to thank the host and the participant for giving me the opportunity to speak. About myself, I'm a partner of L&T and Partners. Our firm is one of the major firms, local firms in Vietnam. We have 3 offices. One in the head office is in Ho Chi Minh City. The branch office is in Hanoi, and also in the newest one is in Singapore. We are one of the 2 Vietnam firms that had an office in Singapore. We are strong in corporate M&A, financial service, real estate, and infrastructure dispute resolutions. We are top tier in Asia law on corporate M&A, top tier on in benchmark litigation on dispute resolution. We also recommended, highly recommended by Chambers. Chambers is one of the most prestigious ranking organizations, and also by International Financial Law Review. We also highly rank it by Financial Times. So those are on innovative lawyers. So for today, I would like to speak about 3 topics. The PowerPoint is only prepared for 1 topic, that is M&A, but the
no worries. So would you like to try sharing your screen shortly?
Yeah.
I'll take this opportunity to introduce you as well. You have partially introduced yourself. So a little bit about Dr. Lynette. He is a partner in charge of L&T and Partners Infrastructure and Financial Services Practice Group, which is widely known for its capacity to tackle complex assignments. So his deals have been highly regarded and contributed to the firm's title of ALB Thomson Reuters Vietnam Firm of the Year 2019 and Deal Firm of the Year 2014. His most significant matters include major ODA infrastructure projects, complex ICC arbitrations, oil refineries, and oil rigs. He has been selected as a leading lawyer in the fields of project finance, international arbitration, and infrastructure by IFLR 1000 Legal 500 and Chambers Global since 2009. So in 2012, Dr. Le was also awarded the title of Lawyer of the Year by Vietnam's Ministry of Justice. He's a lecturer of civil law at the Ho Chi Minh University of Law and has authored textbooks that have published in Vietnam and internationally. And I've gotten his book, So thank goodness for that. So Dr. Le is also an arbitrator at the Vietnam International Arbitration Center, in which he has chaired or co-arbitrated more than 30 cases and a member of Chartered Institute of Arbitrators prior to co-founding L&T and Partners. And Dr. Le has worked at Baker & McKenzie and Clifford Chance. Okay, so that's a little bit about Dr. Le. And now, Dr. Le, it's your turn to share your screen with us.
Yep.
And to present some of the key areas that you'd like to share with us today. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. So I thank you very much for your introduction. I also just have a chat on the screen. I would like to have a poll about two questions. Why are you interested in Vietnam, and what are the biggest challenges for you entering to Vietnam market? And here I received the reasons. Some reply that the top two reasons that they are interested in Vietnam because of the many global manufacturers and factories. So they could create, I hope that would create like a cluster for many other companies to join in and then to serve them. And the second is the young and dynamic population. I think is that is good. That is true, but also the inside of it is that low cost labor as well. So I think for any entrepreneurs, labor cost is the biggest cost and the biggest headache, the biggest challenge. So if you can find a country like Vietnam where people are young and can accept the salary that is lower than in your country, then it's a paradise for entrepreneurship. And not only that, the Vietnam population is close to 100 million. So even in COVID-19, the countries are also suffer because they shut down, they close the door. But inside the country, planes are still flying in and hotels still open. Just recently, we have a second wave of COVID, and then we shut down again Da Nang, and people get a little bit panicked, not going out to work again. But the domestic market is still sizable to keep at least agriculture and some tourists and even airlines still on the survival a little bit. Another reason that I think foreign investor may be interested in Vietnam is because Vietnam signed a lot of FTA, the free trade agreement with other countries. That means if you set up a factory in China, of course, China is much better in terms of supply source and responsive and labor skills, perhaps. But if you want to export the products from China to the US, it would be no-go, and you cannot compete with another factories producing it from Vietnam because Vietnam have a better tax rate. I'm not sure about between China and Europe, but Vietnam also have EVFTA, the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, that I'm not sure other countries in ASEAN also have that that's free trade agreement, but Vietnam have. So about over 90% of the goods exporting to Europe would be subject to 0% tax rate. So that is another good point about Vietnam and entering to Vietnam market. So that's the reason to get into Vietnam. But what is the reason? What are the challenges from Vietnam? Yeah, I think there are some problem with Vietnam legal system, such as there are many laws, and sometimes they might be contradicting. But that's the same, I think, might happen in other countries. The court system is good, but at the same time is quite challenging as well. And that's the same problem that might occur to China like 20 years ago. And I received a response from the audience that the challenge from Vietnam is they don't know whether they would how to enter into Vietnam market, whether they just set up or they just or they just find a new a local partner and cooperate with a local partner. And yeah.
Right, so Dr. Le, you are sharing your screen right now. So if you're presenting from the screen, perhaps you could do a full screen PPT.
Okay.
You do a full slideshow. Yes. Yeah. On the right, you open up the full slideshow below bottom.
Yeah.
You can do a slideshow. Right now, you're in not a full slideshow. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Thank you. The reason what I would like. Thank you, Ronnie. So when you go to you set it up, that means you establish a company, and you find a partner. Then whether it means you go for joint venture or you have an M&A in Vietnam. But before we're talking about an M&A, I would like to say something about establishing a company in Vietnam. Is it easy? Is it difficult? It is not difficult. The legal cost of establishing a company in Vietnam, if you're talking about the office fee, is zero. Does not cost you anything to establish a company. It is possible to establish a company by online submission. Of course, after that, you still have to submit physical papers, but you don't have to present there. You may authorize someone in Vietnam to help you establishing it. The legal cost, the legal fees would be somewhere around $5,000 to establish a company. And depending on the area, whether that area is open to foreigners or not open to foreigners, that so-called conditional area, that the cost of application may be a little bit higher, but $1,000 or $2,000 higher. The documentation is quite standardized, but the difference between let's say Singapore law and Vietnam law is that in Vietnam, if you are foreigners and you want to start a greenfield project, you have to apply for investment registration certificate. That means you have to have the registration, the project before, and when the project is approved, then you can set up a company, which is also like one package: project approval, investment, and also tax registration, and start doing business, open bank account, start doing business. That's all in one package. Then you start asking question, what if I don't have any project? I just want to do business. I just want to come to Vietnam, set up a company, do service. The answer is, yeah, the service itself is also a project. Of course, it's a simple project. We can help you drafting those project. And it's also depending on what kind of service, because some service is still subject to restrictions, such as transportation. It's still like majority has to be Vietnamese. The majority shares has to be Vietnamese, or education. Although they allow 100% foreign-owned education center, but they say that if you are foreign owned, then you cannot accept Vietnamese as students more than 2 or 3%. So if you want to accept Vietnamese students, then then you have to have a joint venture or the investment into a local, which is lower in the joint venture where the local hold the majority. So those are the things that the lawyers, they would advise to you when you invest into Vietnam market. I want to stop here and ask if you follow me and then have any other questions. Yeah, if not, I will continue. The next one is what happened after you you set up a company in Vietnam. The next one is to open a bank account, tax account, and pay tax. Tax issue will be taught by Mr. Dung. I just mentioned a bit about the bank account. If you want to invest in Vietnam, you have to set up an account called Direct Investment Capital Account, DICA. And the money that invested into it now has to be converted to Vietnamese dong and put into the ICA. The law guarantee for you the right to withdraw the money as a dividend and as a upon transfer of shares or upon liquidation of the company. You want to pull out the asset, whatever remains to you will be transferred out of Vietnam, can be transferred out of Vietnam. The government will give you in the ordinance, foreign exchange ordinance, they guarantee the right of the investors to convert Vietnamese dong into foreign exchange to transfer dividend or sale proceeds of the asset out of Vietnam. Only when you invest in a huge amount of money, then you have to talk to the State Bank of Vietnam before you you convert, because that might impact the foreign exchange balance of the country. So those are the things that when you that will happen after you set up a company in Vietnam. If you want to engage in commercial activities, then you need to after establishing in Vietnam, you need to apply for the so-called business license. And here you may need to get approval from the ministries where they oversee your activities. That will be explained in next opportunity. When you come and ask us, and depending on the area of business, we can give you advice on each area. Then comes the issue of labor law. You can sign the labor contract with Vietnamese people. The probation period maximum is 2 months. The limit, and then you can have then you can sign a labor contract. The labor contract can be either time limit contract or indefinite contract. For time limit contract, it could be from 1 year to 3 years. And the difference between time limit contract and indefinite contract is that in time limit contract, the contract will expire at the end of the time. Or if the employee wants to terminate in advance, they can give a 30 days notice. For an indefinite contract, for the contract to be terminated, the employer has to have reason, such as restructuring, bankruptcy, or the whole section is down, or there is the reason, there is a disciplinary action taken in which the employee is to be terminated after consulting with the trade union. The trade union in Vietnam is controlled by the government, so it's not much trouble to have a trade union. And actually, I think it's a good thing to have a trade union because it makes you out of headache if you want to fire people. The contract has to be registered with the local local labor federation, and each employee will receive a labor book that give them track records of employment, paying social security, health insurance. If they change their job, they just take the book and present to the new one, the new place, in order to get the contract continued, so that the benefit of the employees are guaranteed. There are minimum wage imposed by the government, but the minimum wage is quite low. I mean, is about $200 a month, which is, in fact, people don't get that payment. They receive higher salary, at least higher salary than that. Apart from that, for the company that employ more than 10 people, then you may have collective labor agreement registered with the local labor federation. You would have the labor law, the labor internal regulations registered with the labor regulation, the labor federation. Those structures is to protect the interest of the workers, and also on the other hand, is make it clearer of the rights and obligation between the employer and the employee, and it's easier to terminate the contract between the employer and employee. So those are the brief on employment in Vietnam. Do you have any questions?
Okay, any questions from the floor? Any questions, please do type in your chat if you have any questions for Dr. Le?
Yes.
Because anyways, later on, all the speakers will convene for a fireside chat, and all of you could also ask questions if right now you still need time to digest. Okay, so yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Le. Anything else to add before we move on to the next speaker?
Yeah, so then now it's come to M&A. There is some, first of all, I showed to you some statistics on M&A and the attractive sectors: food, beverage, pharmaceutical, life science, real estate. There could be some challenges to the Vietnamese, to the investors, like you already mentioned. And the legal framework is law and enterprise and certain degree. I think you don't need to know them by heart. We'll take care of that if you ask us questions.
Dr. Le, are you having issues? You might want to click enable editing at the top, at the yellow bar, and then after that you make it a full PPT. On the bottom right hand corner, 4 icons.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, please open that.
So this is a new law on investment 2020, but before present to you the new law, I think you have to know about the old law. So I think to get into that is too much detail at this stage.
I think you might be experiencing issues. Let me share your slide. I guess, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So just gonna click into the slides that you cover. Okay. So
Yep.
I think you're done with this. Okay. Are
Yes.
you on this? Are you on this slide? Or
Next,
next? Okay.
next, 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 next. The whole page is done.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, 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 next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here.
Next. So the law on enterprise in Vietnam, corporate law is pretty much like the company law in other countries. They is to protect the interests of the minority and to make them work under a certain predictable structure. Next, please, Rennie. Yeah, next. Next, yeah. So for the M&A process, then first of all you do the due diligence, and then you do the due diligence, then you ask for M&A approval, merger acquisition approval from the Department of Investment and Planning, which is not difficult. They just check the law and confirm to you that you have duly notified the share transfer, and then you may move forward with the transactions. After that, you make the payment also through the DICA. For the area of transactions, there is restructuring transactions, there is project transfer. That is kind of asset transfer and not a share transfer. So we can skip that. So those are everything that I would like to present. In my PowerPoint presentation is my email. You may want to contact. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We're very happy to answer. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. La. So do stay back for the fireside chat.